Hey, Tom Stewart here, Smart Business Moves. Today's
Hey Tom,
Tuesday afternoon. Liz, how are you?
I'm well. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. We got a guest today, Sandy Bollo. Hey, Sandy, how are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm very good. Thank you.
Known
Hey
Sandy
Sandy.
for a number of years. Liz, you and Sandy kind of work together in the MMA group, right?
Yeah. She's in our success group. We actually just had a little bit of a call today. It's kind of funny because Sandy, I didn't tell you that I was gonna say this. I just right as we were going live, I said to Sandy, "Is it okay if I mention that you're in the MMA group?" She said, "Yeah, it's okay." So that is all the conversation we had. So right now, I'm going to mention something about this that she's probably going to be like, "Oh, okay, Liz." But on the call today, that we had, it was just like a quick one-on-one call. We were looking at her finances, and I was like, "What the heck, girl? Why didn't you tell me that your finances have been looking so good?" Because one of the things we talk about regularly is, especially through COVID, who's like back up to speed, who's still struggling, who's like on a great upward trajectory. And she hadn't said anything. She had one short month of May, and it was slightly low. And every other month, March, April, June, July, August, up. I'm like, what the heck? She's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, not a braggart, apparently. So it was crazy. Actually, I do want to say one thing real quick, Tom, before we get started. Sandy, on the right-hand side of your, hey, Denise, on the right-hand side of your screen, you see where it says private chat?
Mm-hmm.
To the left of that, it says comments. That's actually a tab. If you click it, you'll be able to see all the comments coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's so weird because it doesn't look like a tab, and it doesn't, it almost looks like you already clicked on there. Hey, Leslie.
Leslie.
Yeah, some of our regular folks on here. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting that Sandy is just one of those people that she's kind of quiet, but she has a strong personality. She's a high D for those of you guys that know DISC. She's not only high D, but she has high D as part of her behavioral style. And so she does drive on things, but kind of in a mellow way. Like, do.
I would never guess the high D. I mean, Sandy was a foundation's alumni, and we spent a week together, like down at the beach working, and very talented operator. Didn't
Hey, Marlo.
The drive is subtle.
Well, that must be because I have the high C, S, and then the D. So I have to bring it out on purpose.
Hey, Linda.
The D and the C are always fighting each other, aren't they?
We were just talking about that today, Tom.
Yeah, it's an affliction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And her C is so much higher than her D that I told her she needs to let that D out, man. Crush that C every once in a while. Yeah. Don't kill the C because you need the C, but let it out, let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 3 behavioral styles above the line it's a little trickier. It's a little bit trickier. So, Linda's on here. I just saw her. She's brand new to growth. So I think she's probably been in growth for a couple hours now. So good to see you, Linda.
Before we get too deep in today's discussion, Liz, you want to walk us through what we're doing here for the balance of the week?
Sure. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to do something a little bit different. Usually what we do is we try to bring a guest on that is going to give you some direct information that you should hopefully be able to take back to your business and use. And even if it's not directly related to you, like maybe we're talking about solos and you have teams, you should still be able to take some of this information and apply it to your business. We don't do anything that's really very salesy without that piece unless it is deal day. And that's all sales all the time. But tomorrow we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to seem very, very salesy. And that's because we want to let you guys know what's going on. This is about the Juno Summit. And Elena Ledoux is she sort of spearheaded this movement. And so she's going to come on. We're going to have Debbie Sardone on. Hopefully, we're going to have Trisha on. We don't know if she's going to come on yet. She hasn't confirmed.
Trisha Lake.
Yeah, Trisha Lake. And we're lucky. And then we're also going to have Heather on. We can only get 6 people on the call. So we're going to be talking about the Juno Summit and the different presentations and a little bit more about how it's going to work and just giving everybody a little bit of insight because we haven't talked about it very much. And I'm not even sure the dates have been announced. So we're going to do that on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have a secret guest. And y'all saw me roasting poor Tom yesterday over that hint. So rather than roast him again today, I have a hint that I am just going to throw out there. And I want to get this number right. For those of you that saw this speaker at ARCSI on the $1 million panel, is that better, Tom? Give a little bit more info.
Yeah.
You will remember, hopefully, that at one point she had her checking account down to $3.35. So for those of y'all that have felt like, wow, and it wasn't that she had $3.35 in her checking account and she just needed to transfer some money over from savings. No, that was all the money she had, $3.35. So,
the awesome part about that is that she didn't get into the non-sufficient funds thing. She didn't bounce any checks.
Yeah, she might not be talking about that part. I don't know. I'm guessing that's not the case because she is very forthcoming about the struggles that she has endured as a business owner in our industry. So we'll see. Marlo knows who it is. She's like, I know, $3.35. That's hard to forget, right? Like, woo! I couldn't remember if it was CK, and you're thinking Castle Keepers, right? That's what I thought when I saw it. CK, you're right though. You got it. And so we're going to do something that's a little bit different moving forward with On the Spot. Oh, maybe you could change this, Tom, for next time. On the Spot hyphen, and we're going to have a topic related to the guest, a topic that the guest is probably perceived as at least somewhat of an expert in this area. So for this week, we will be doing On the Spot around sales. So bring all of your sales questions, any sales questions you can think about. What is the best way to do sales? How do you do it online? What are some of the best sales strategies if you're trying to sell on your website? All your sales strategies or sales questions, bring them for Thursday. All right. That was a lot.
So tomorrow's going to be Juno Summit. I finished my presentation the other day, and it's awesome, Liz.
Yay! What's it about, Tom?
It's about numbers that matter, and they're basically, this is a brand new presentation. Brand new concept, actually. I haven't shared any of this before in anything I've ever done, so I'm pretty excited about it, and I think it's going to be useful. How's your presentation, Liz?
Mine is okay. I had to get it in, so I had no option. We had to get them in. They had to be in by the end of the day yesterday. So I submitted it, but I would not say it's my best. And what I had told the group is I'll probably refilm. But because I know they needed it, I gave them what they needed, so they have it. But I've done better, and I will do better. I'm planning on leaving here today and going and filming another version of it. Thanks for asking.
Well, we're working under a tight time frame, and
yeah.
What I do know is that you're probably your harshest critic, and what you think is okay, most mortals think's really awesome. So
thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. The presentation itself, I would say, is good, but I had a really long weekend. I did a big 3-day mastermind event, and I was kind of beat. So I didn't have the energy. It wasn't as peppy as I would like. So today I'm going to redo it. It's going to be good. It's going to be better. But even if something happened, it's still okay. So Tom, one thing I want to ask you is your new presentation, is it on the profit paradigm that we talked about?
It is. It is the Made Central Profit Paradigm. This is something.
That's going to be.
That was a softball. Thank you. This is something that we've been working on the Made Central side, where we collect a ton of data and we have a bunch of reports, but we really aren't making it as easy as we could be for people to take that data and information to make smart business moves within their business. So new profit paradigm basically breaks it down into four basic metrics: pay, price, productivity, and efficiency. And take me the next hour to get into all the details as to what that's all about. But those are just four metrics. If you manage those, you're going to be growing your gross profit, and you're going to have a lot more money in the bank. So it's going to be good. And then it not only for the Juno Summit, but I think it's going to help a lot of people understand why you can clean a lot of homes and still not have a lot of money left over.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Well, this is actually a good segue over to Sandy's topic today of building a lifestyle company, because that was one of the things that Sandy really focused on, because her business was not, she didn't decide to set up her business to just bring in a ton of cash, but she did focus on profit and how to make her company profitable. So Sandy, tell us a little bit about how you did it, what you did, and how that all worked out for you.
Well, I decided to start my business when I was a stay-at-home mom. I volunteer. I opened a nonprofit chapter locally, so I did a lot of work, but it was not getting paid. So I wanted to get paid, and I started my business. And it took me a while to understand how I can fit it into my lifestyle and to make so it's worth it for me to keep working. And it's been 12 years now, and I think I finally got it to the point that I am making money for the work that I'm doing, and keeping the life that my main job has always been to be a mom and keep the stay-at-home mom tasks, and then have the job in addition to what I do in my life.
Yay, I'm so glad. And so you actually use Profit First, right?
Right. Sorry, yes, but actually put my finances together, and I was able to get the money that I needed in the money I was getting in an organized manner, so I could get profit and have it first, then not make mistakes and spend the sales tax, for example. That a lot of my issues at the beginning of my business were sales tax or the income tax. So with Profit First, I organized all my money to the point that I am able to pay all my income tax, and not owe anything at when taxes come around.
Yeah, super nice. So,
Yeah.
and I know that was a really big deal because, a few years ago we worked together and the profit was the biggest problem in your company. It was like, oh man, I need to make more money. I'm working hard and I just want to make more money. But you didn't want to grow your business and turn it into this big behemoth where you've got massive employees and you got this whole big thing that you're working. So I always really admired that you were working on Profit First long before people were talking about Profit First.
Yeah, it's been 2 years or 3 years now in September that I started using Profit First, and it truly changed my business.
Yeah. when where were we, in Vegas? And you were like, yeah, Liz, just a few years
Last
ago,
year?
wasn't it Vegas? When we were having dinner? Where were
Yeah,
we?
twice in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, in Vegas. And you're like, yeah, it wasn't that long ago where I didn't have money in my checking account, much less my savings account. And now my savings account is like bloated. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, I love that.
Yeah.
Such good news, you know? All right. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about like what do you do? Like, what are some of the struggles that you have, or what works well? How, tell us a little bit about how your business runs.
All right. You froze a little bit, so I think that you asked me for struggles.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah.
So the very beginning, the first few years, were difficult to learn how to run a business, a service business, and not make too many mistakes, which I make a lot of mistakes, and balancing also the fact that my office was at home and my family needed me, and they were my priority. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I had some responsibilities in the business that you have to. I can't say, sorry, I have to go feed my family at this time when I have I have something else for the business important, right?
Right.
So that was training or educating my family that I had a job was the hardest thing, and it took years for them to
Yeah.
respect that if I'm in the space, like when the kids are in their bedrooms, that is their solo time. Um, then like a lot of business trying to bring cleaners and learn how to hire who is a good cleaner, who isn't. And I learned a lot of the mistakes that I made. I wish I really had foundations, and the group that I have right now at the beginning, it would have been more smooth.
Yeah.
But those were really challenging issues at the beginning.
Well, hiring is not easy for anybody. You're rarely going to find a business owner that's like, oh, the easiest part of my job is hiring. Yeah, it's so easy. And we just got no problems in that direction. Some people have an easier time than others, absolutely. But you're rarely going to find somebody that just thinks that's the easiest part of the job. Our industry is tough when it comes to hiring. We don't pay as much money as other, Leslie. You've probably seen Leslie on here. A lot of you guys have seen Leslie on here, and she's presented as with us as well. I mean, I think this mindset is a common one that a lot of people just don't talk about. Not every business owner wants to be a $5 million company, right? They want to have that. I was going somewhere and totally lost my train of thought when I saw Leslie's thing pop up there. But many business owners want to have more of this lifestyle company.
Work-life balance. We had Nina on last week, kind of talking about the same thing, a different angle, but the at the end it's the same thing, isn't it? That there's more to life than working all the time.
Right, and I got to see Nina's presentation, and it was amazing to me because I'm 20 years older than her, and I'm growing my business in such a different manner. But it was just, I was so inspired by her for that she didn't have her business at the stage that she's right now. But it made a lot of sense to me, the differences on how I grew my business. I have 12 years in business and I still have a small company. My growth has been really steady but slow in just around how I want to handle, how much time I want to invest. For the longest time, I was working only less than 4 days a week. My Fridays were sacred until COVID happened. But
well, not just your Fridays, but your Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So
well, definitely, yeah. I didn't work at all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of business owners are like, yeah, I take Friday off too. I work like a dog Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so I can get Friday off. but you know, so it wasn't just that you were taking Fridays off; you were taking 3 days off a week. That was your normal schedule. So, and I know that so one of the things that we do in our MA group is we do like we do a tour of the business where we walk through the whole entire business and we talk about every single thing that's in there. Hey, Dawn, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. And it usually takes at least an hour, hour and a half. Oh, Tom, big smile too. I saw Tom saw Dawn on there.
Yeah.
And I think that when you get to see the business like that too, it's like, oh wow, things is so different how things run. But you also get to see the inside scoop, Sandy. So you know, she has grown her business fast, but it was not in a controlled manner like yours, and she has really struggled. It's been hard for her in much bigger, harder ways than you've had to worry about. You have grown just much steadier, you know, slower, surely, but definitely steady and in a controlled manner. It's not easy. It's just, you know, trying to find the right way for you is kind of, I think, what matters for people. So
I agree, because it's not, you have to adapt the business to what you want. And I have to mention that I've been lucky because my business has never been the bread and butter of my family. So my business is the cream on top. Right. So everything that I bring into the family is financially is just the extras and paying the extra stuff, not really the basics.
And you know, that really does matter. You know, if you have to provide for your family, you've gotta be working in a different mindset, period. You don't have options. You have to.
Yeah.
When you were talking about hiring,
different.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Super nice that you have that. You know, I love it. Mm-hmm. It's somewhat of a luxury, right? So it's nice. So you were talking about hiring, and you know that it's really hard, and we were talking about some of the challenges that I hadn't really considered before. Can you share a little bit about how you still struggle, even though right now when you're hiring, not just finding people, but like, what are you looking for?
So look for, now I'm using all the tools that I've learned. But my ideal employee for me is a part-time employee that doesn't need to work the 5 days a week. Either they have another job or they're studying, so they don't have a whole 40 hours. And because at the same time, because I'm a small business, bringing clients in is difficult when I don't have enough staff. Right now, I have a lot of work, and I am struggling to have and cover the work that I have. So that has been the hardest and more challenging everyday struggle lately, and especially with the pandemic. It wasn't that hard before.
So you are struggling more. I would think that there are more people since the pandemic that are happy about working part-time, no?
Actually, no, I haven't been lucky to find people that have stayed long enough.
Okay. I know it is important that you want to keep your people long-term, and you can't really afford to have a situation where you have a revolving door of employees, which some companies can handle that a little bit easier, but you can't.
Right now, it's been difficult. Like with the pandemic, before the pandemic, I had employees that have been with me for 2 years, and that is the norm. I have 2-3 year turnover on employees.
Yeah.
But some, as soon as the pandemic started, and since then I've been having a hard time finding their replacements. I have only temporary people coming and going.
Well, I don't think you're the only one dealing with that. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
How many employees do you have?
Right now, I have 5 on payroll.
Okay.
12 that are not on payroll. Only kidding.
No. Sometimes I don't put the casual employees or the initial. The first 2 weeks I don't put on payroll. If I normally they are really great. They have good training. They perform well at the job, and then something happens that is it. They just drop one way or another.
You also use Taskway, right? Maria's company for VA services.
Yeah.
So, on which I was really interested in too, because a lot of times small companies are thinking, "Oh, I can't have a VA." Wow, I very much felt like I wanted a V8 right there, like one of those drinks. Hey, little cat.
One thing that strikes me is, we talk about it and teach this concept called the Valley of Despair, that when you're growing your business, you can get yourself, oftentimes you find yourself in a situation where the bigger your business gets, the less money you're making, and you can even be losing money as you're growing your business because you're hiring office help, you're buying equipment, you're getting more space, and so on and so forth. And you have to grow the idea is you have to grow your way out of it to get to the point where you're profitable again. But you're showing us, Sandy, that you can actually build a business if you're disciplined and patient, where you don't necessarily have to take that trip through the Valley of Despair.
Well, maybe I've been in the Valley of Despair and not know it.
Oh no, when you're there, you know it. So it wasn't always,
all right.
I know, when you were
tracking my numbers. Since I started tracking my numbers, it's been easier to make decisions and to be more clear where I want to go, what I want to do than before.
Yeah, I mean, really, Tom, you know that that's the truth of the matter. If you're not tracking those numbers, you're just going to end up there no matter what. I mean, you really got to be paying attention. And the Valley of Despair is really more of a mindset. So you get there and you're making more money. You just got to be managing those dollars so much more carefully. Like you said, you just have to be very, very disciplined. It's not like if you're making $400,000 a year, it's guaranteed you're going to be going broke. That's not the case. You just need to be managing those dollars so carefully.
Yeah. If you're tracking the numbers and if you're managing the process, then it's purposeful and you're making decisions knowing what the outcome is going to be. You can predict, what's going to be happening to your bottom line, and you can plan it out and say, well, this is where I'm going to be month to month, and figure out what your time horizon is. And it's all about predictable outcomes. And if you know what you need to do top line and what that means on the bottom line, then you make decisions that get you to where it is that you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, I have to say that when I was on Foundations in 2015, Tom's spreadsheet was very scary.
Yeah,
very scary.
Well, the new one's better.
It's not just how to handle the Excel spreadsheet that is amazing. It's just that you have to be brave to see your numbers.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
You have to have the courage to do it. And it might be for some people that's easy, but for a lot of us, and for me in particular, it was very, very hard to handle numbers and to money and the beliefs that you have around that. I had to work and change a lot of that to be able to be here today. Yeah, and I'm doing the spreadsheet for the whole year, the KPIs, and I am crushing it.
I know. So proud of you. Yeah, that's awesome. So, you make a really, really good point, Sandy, that it's a lot of times it's not that people can't or anything, but they're afraid. They're just, the numbers are really scary. Not that they're afraid to do them, that they can't do them, but they don't know. They're afraid of what they're going to see. Totally agree about numbers. It's true. We actually know somebody that's been in business for well over a decade that told us that one of the things he did was put a Post-it note over his bank balance so that he just didn't have to look at it. So on the computer screen. So it's really, if it's scary for somebody that's been in business for over a decade to look at that number, we can't deny that the numbers are just scary. It's just a really, it's difficult. Anyway, that actually is really one of the reasons why I have been hammering on Tom. How many years, Tom, have I been hammering on you about you need to be figuring out a way to get this information out to people in a simple way that they can comprehend it without being just like, deer in the headlights. I mean, I've been bugging you about that for years. It's not easy though. It's so easy. I mean, so hard, because trying to overcome that spreadsheet is not so scary. So scary, Tom. and you know that it is. You've been having to talk with people and talk them through that. How many times did we go through foundations and people were crying?
Yeah. A number of times actually, where it's just like the light bulb goes off, and it's like I've been wrestling with this for years, and now I finally get a glimpse. I understand. I mean, if you really, at its simplest form, there's certain numbers that you want to get bigger, like your bill rate per job, and there's other numbers that you want to make smaller, or get smaller, such as your payroll to revenue. And once you have a framework to work with that, it's not nearly as scary. I mean, it's not, and we see it time and time again. But we're working on tools. We're doing some really cool stuff. You're going to see some of it in the Juno Summit. Made Central is going to be doing a lot more beyond just the software, in terms of talking about what those numbers are and what they mean, and how people can use them to make their business better with or without the software.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, just because it's going to make people's lives so much easier. So, so Sandy, talk to us a little bit about your commercial, right? You were mostly residential, and then you did a little bit of commercial, and you're kind of moving a little bit like back and forth around that. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, why did you make the decision? How's it working out for you?
Well, it was a decision that it was made when in 2011 I had a partnership, and that partnership brought a few commercial clients, and then we started acquiring more clients that way. I didn't want to go into commercial before, because I really didn't want to be working at nights. I wanted to be done at 5 o'clock and forget I had people working out there late after that. But it gave me the opportunity to see how easy, in a way, those jobs were. The partnership didn't work out. So in 2012, after a whole year, we split the business half and half, and I kept some of the companies that I still have today. And if the customer service, it has to be really professional, really excellent quality customer service that you provide them, but it's not on a constant daily thing that you have to be responding to complaints and things like that. If they have a complaint, you fix it, or you say like the next cleaning, depending on your relationship with the business. And it's easygoing. in that sense. So all these years, they have been great. It has always been 60-40 residential commercial for me. But since the pandemic, I closed 2 months the residential, and the commercial has been steady. And I have the commercial in a way that I haven't been able to do years prior. So it's been really good, and I think I want to stay a lot more on commercial than residential. So I'm looking to switch my percentages in the future to be majority commercial, the very little residential.
But you're planning on doing light commercial, right? Like commercial that can be done during the day, or how's it working?
I might, when nobody's there. I like lawyers' offices, accountants, doctors' offices. I am going to see if I have the possibility of be a little bit pickier on who I bring in. So I don't want to have small, old business offices that are messy and are difficult to clean. Mm-hmm. Right now, everybody that I have are big, well-organized, well-managed offices, and they are really good to do with.
Okay, awesome. Have you been doing the spraying and the fogging and all that kind of stuff for your commercial?
I did a little bit. It was very interesting. A lot of my clients that were not doctor's offices were more thorough and required us to do a lot more disinfection services than the doctor's offices. I'm guessing because the doctors have all the nurses taking care of all that.
They're doing so they all day, every day. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no way they can let it.
The lawyers, the payroll companies, that type of businesses that stayed open through the pandemic, they required us to do, and we are still doing a lot of high-touch disinfection and jobs like that. Fogging, it kind of slowed down as everybody started normalizing their lives around this.
Yeah.
The fogging was less of a priority and on that.
Yeah, we run into that same thing. We're not having people that are wanting it nearly as much, and we're even having a hard time selling it when when we're trying to. It's not even working as a good like a free upsell. So I'm like, wow, okay. What about the other thing I have on my little list here is getting out of the field, because when you and I were talking, that's kind of a hard thing to do when you're trying to grow slowly, because you want to be out of the field, but you also want to make money. And so how did you kind of manage that?
It's been a lot of years. I don't really remember exactly what I did. I just know that I made the decision as soon as that transition that you're training the one cleaner and that cleaner is working, then I brought the second cleaner and that cleaner was working. I immediately step out of the cleaning, and I told them, every time I go in to clean, I'm taking your hours. That is not my job. That is not my job. And if I have to go in and clean, then I'm taking your hours. You're not going to get extra hours. So it was that mentality of educating my employees that is not my job and they cannot count on me to be their backup. And it took a while. Every once in a while, I've stepped in. And for the longest time, I still thought that I was the best cleaner my company had. So, but lately, because I have been out of the field for so long, I am so slow. They are pushing me. If I'm supporting somebody and during COVID, I stepped in. They have been like, okay, you're so slow. You need to hurry up. You're slowing us down. I'm like, well,
I literally have my people do not want me to come out and like talk to them, do anything with them in the field because they're like, Liz, you make it so long. Our day is so long if you come. I'm like, I don't do anything. I just talk. They're like, yeah, can you not do that, please? If I bring coffee, can I come? If you have to.
If they have the option, I wouldn't be. If it's for, my employees' choice, they don't want me in there.
Yeah, I think that actually works out really well for a lot of companies as you're trying to transition out. Try to make it so that it's better for them to not have you there.
And I think that every time they say something like that, for me, it's a compliment. I don't tell them that, but for me, it's a compliment that, okay, good. I accomplished what I needed to have my employees taken care of in the cleaning, and I am taking care of the admin and managing behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a job. I mean, if you're out cleaning, then yeah, Maria, I could totally picture Maria going out in the field just to say hi, take somebody a snack, and then be like, "Uh-oh, I'm in cleaning," and then find herself cleaning for 2 hours. I could totally picture her doing that. So yeah. It is a hard transition. I know when companies are small, they're trying to get out of the field. They get out, they get pulled back in. You know, it's like a cycle. But I like that you said that it really is your mindset of, you know, that you're taking their hours if you're out in the field. And the other piece to me is that then you're not really valuing the job of not being in the office or of being in the office. It's like you don't really need to have that time in the office. So you could be cleaning, and that really isn't true. I mean, the office work has to get done. I saw here that Leslie, you're fogging a lot of schools. I mean, that makes perfect sense right now.
Yep.
Right. The kids are trying to get back in. Are your kids in school full time live? We don't have that here. Yeah, we don't have full time live. I know my sister-in-law was just here for a couple of days this weekend, and they have full-time live there. They're in Iowa. And I was like, wow. She said, yeah, where they live, it's...
And at like 100%, like all of the kids are going back?
If you want to. If you don't want to, you can keep your kids at home. It's up to you. But they are opening up the schools for all the children full-time that want to go back to school. I was like, wow. She's got a lot of grandkids, and they're all going back to school.
Nice. Probably she's on a green zone that they are doing that. Here all the schools are virtual. They're starting next week. And there are just a few childcare places that are going to be open. So it's been, it's been hard to find jobs that have a cleaner that is doing the fogging. And I didn't have schools before. So yeah, I just didn't.
I think the schools is a great
effort.
Great idea. Oh, sorry, you got a little laggy for a second there. I was talking over you. Sorry about that, Sandy.
Not a problem. I don't know what my Wi-Fi is doing on and off.
I think that for the most part, your face has been pretty good. Like you've been freezing fairly decently. Not as good as some people. Actually, Maria's on this call. You remember when Maria was on? Her face froze perfect every single time. She was like, it's like, what the heck? You did have one time, Sandy, that you were like, like, bummer, dude. That's how I freeze every single time. Okay, what did she say? My husband is distant teaching, but we have a small district, 5 schools starting with children, and they have 2 diggings a day.
Diggings?
Foggings.
What is it?
Fogging?
Oh, foggings. That makes sense. Yeah, foggings. Good job, Sandy. You was next a lot.
Talking, yeah. Okay, I'll do that. Gotta be careful.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Every once in a while, a dirty word pops up. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, that's true. That does happen too. Yeah, fogging. So, Leslie, are you guys like kind of on site? Do you do like one fogging, you go all the way through the school, and by the time you're done, then you go back and start over? Is it like that, and not that big of a deal? You have to go kind of back and forth. I'm just curious because fogging goes really quickly. I mean, that is one thing that I was kind of surprised at how fast the fogging goes. Well, and we don't do a lot of it. We do very, very little, of the vital oxide in the electrostatic sprayer. Very, very little. I sure wouldn't want to be telling anybody how to do it. I am not Sharon Grammer. No, don't expect any of that good info from me. So what else can you tell us, Sandy, about the benefits? One of the things that early morning and late afternoon. Okay, so you probably go do it and then go do other stuff, and then you go back at the end of the day, which would make sense. So another thing I would like to hear about is that there are real true benefits to building your business in this way. Like you do get to, every day, 5 days a week or 7? 5.
I would assume 5. Kids wouldn't be going to school on the weekend.
I don't know, because how are they getting all those kids in there?
Spread them out a little bit more. Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, that's the reason I was asking. Because they can't have the same number of kids in the same desks, the same distance.
I imagine parents would probably push back on weekend school, my guess.
I wouldn't. If my kid was going to school.
24 hours a day.
Oh, 5. It is 5. Yeah, I figures that makes sense. So are there other benefits, Sandy, that you know of to growing your business in this way?
I would say that, for me, it's kind of the same benefits that you have when you own your own business on taking time off. My family is from South America, and I've been able to travel and manage the business long distance. I don't think if I had a bigger company, well, maybe, I don't know, but at least on my size, everything that I've done has helped me to do that. And last January, February, I was out 3.5 weeks, and I had a really small team, but they were reliable enough that I could go, and I knew that they took care of all the cleanings that needed to be taken care of.
I think that is another thing.
So that is one of the advantages.
Go ahead, Sandy.
That when my kids were little, now one is in college, and then my youngest one is a senior in high school this year. But when they were younger, I was also able to continue volunteering at the school. So I had a lot of volunteering. I adapted my work schedule to my volunteering schedule. So that was really good for me. I really loved doing that.
Leslie wants to know what part of South America.
What part? South America, Ecuador, and Chile. So, being able to volunteer and be part of my kids' school life was really important, that I didn't want to lose, and that was a very nice advantage of how, in the way I build my business around what was a priority in my life, basically.
Yeah. Do you have any other plans, like as your kids get older, as they don't need you as much, or in school more, all that kind of stuff? Do you have any plans to do anything different, or are you really enjoy this lifestyle?
I have this year that I want to grow. I want to make more money, be able to pay myself more money. But I want to go back to my 4 days a week, or even 3 days a week. And I really want to work less hours in those 3 days.
Yeah.
Maybe I can still keep the 4 days, but less hours. So I
love that. I want to grow my business, and I want to get bigger, and I want to make more money, but I'm going to work less.
Definitely. That's the goal.
That's good. I mean, I feel like that is a really good benefit of having your company, right? And actually working on your business in the way that you've done it. I love that. I think that's a great benefit that a lot of people would never be able to realize ever, even be able to think about.
Something we should all maybe give more consideration to, huh?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that especially that I want to set it up in a way that it really can run with me overseeing it a few hours, because I do want to do some other things with my life more than being a business owner.
Mhm.
So I need the time, a free time every day to actually get to do that.
Well, you are also doing some, weren't you doing some NLP for a while?
Yeah, I took a class for NAP and NLP, neuro-associative programming and neuro-linguistics programming.
Yeah.
Which it helps to reprogram your brain to remove obstacles and to it's like a computer idea that you put a system that actually is going to work toward the goals that you want to accomplish. And that is what I've been using also to really get myself into long-term goals that I didn't think I was going to be able to do before. So I want to do more. I want to help more people with that, but I really need to have my business running at a level that will allow me to do that.
I do think that is another big benefit of growing your company in the way that you have. You've been able to do some of the stuff that you really enjoy, that you have passion for, where a lot of people can't do it. They're like, they like it, but they're way too busy doing, running a cleaning company to do any of the other stuff that they have. But you have been able to. I mean, Leslie's loving the NLP too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about NAP, but I know that NLP is really interesting to me as well.
It's very.
But again, I don't have time for it.
I remember back in the 80s, I had a set of cassette tapes that kind of walks you through NLP. You remember you could get these books or the clamshells that would have like the cassette tapes in there.
Did you buy that out of the Yellow Pages, Tom?
I'm sure it wasn't off of the internet.
I'm going to guess. But I mean, we can't laugh about that stuff too much, because I'm thinking of stuff that we were selling at Cleaning Business Builders that was not that much different not that long ago.
Well, we still have these DVD discs.
Clamshell things. Yeah. Anybody wants any DVDs, hit me up. We got some.
We can burn them.
Yeah.
Sandy, I don't know if we announced the name of your business or not. It's Shore Natural Cleaning Services. You're in Southern Jersey, right?
Yes, I'm in the Atlantic City area, an hour from Philadelphia, 2 hours south of New York. So we have an amazing location here, right next to the beach. So pretty cool place. And
is that Atlantic City? So Tom, don't get irritated with me. I don't know locations. Is it the same Atlantic City that everybody always talks about, where all the gambling is?
Yep.
I need to come visit you, Sandy. What the heck? Why you didn't tell me that?
Well, now that I know that is your pool, I'm gonna use it. You have.
That's right. You got to get me there.
You have to come see me.
Yeah.
Sandy, do you have anything on your website about hypochlorous acid?
I see the question. I don't do it. I use all my natural cleaning products, but I don't mix them. I suck at chemistry. I really don't want to deal with that. So I buy them already made. The disinfectant is I buy it locally, and I have a good price for that. So I distribute that to my fellow customers. So if you're interested, let me know. I have it at a really good price from the manufacturer directly.
Is that the stuff you got me?
Yes, the stuff that I sent you.
Yeah. Yep, the stuff is good. Yep, love the sprayer too.
Do you do vacation rentals, Sandy?
I don't do rentals. They're called turnovers around here. They are also Saturday cleanings. It's not the type of cleaning that I like. I have summer homes that I can do during the week when the client is not using their weekend home. So those are my the extra summer work that I have. But I'm not a fan of turnovers. I have some Airbnbs, but I'm also not a fan of those jobs either. They're too stressful.
Yeah. Oh, Tom, it's like our hour is up.
We're at the
You're
top
on
of
it.
the hour. Just quickly, some of the obligatory red tape here. If you haven't subscribed to Cleaning Business Today, it's really easy. Just your email, your first name, your last name. You get our newsletter updates, late breaking news. If you need the link to our resource page from all of the downloads and other materials that we've collected through Smart Business Moves since March, I guess. It's here. Sandy, it's good seeing you again. It's been a while. I know you see Liz probably pretty much on a daily basis or very regular basis.
Pretty much daily.
I'm excited to hear that things are going so well. That's awesome. And thank you for taking an hour with us here today. I mean, this is good information and it's inspiring. It's good to hear that there's a lot of different ways that you can get good outcomes from your business, great outcomes. And thank you for sharing that.
That's what I thought, Tom.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Sandy. I will see you tomorrow.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow.
And
Bye, y'all.
tomorrow, 5 o'clock.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Juno Summit. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.